Please welcome Vegas Chamber President and CEO Mary Beth Sewald for opening remarks.
Thank you, Javier. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining us today. And thank you, Treasurer Conine and Lesley, Deputy Director. We're really thrilled to have you along with Joe Caldera. Again, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for what it really is an important conversation about Nevada's new retirement savings mandate and what that's going to mean for you and your business. So hopefully today, this webinar is going to be part of an important resource for you. We're calling it, it's a new webinar series called Situation Report Navigating the Now. So we at the Vegas Chamber feel like this is really important information. It's something you're going to have to know and we'll have to comply with. And so that's why we're doing this one today. The new state mandate that I'm talking about is starting July 1st, 2025. Most employers across the state of Nevada are going to be required to offer a retirement savings program. So today's briefing is going to bring together all the experts to help you understand those new requirements and really what are your options, including the Vegas Chamber's 401k plan, which we've had for several years now, but really how you can prepare your business for compliance. So as we said today, we're very happy to have Nevada State Treasurer Zach Conine with us. Treasurer Conine really has played a key role in shaping the state's financial policies and programs. We're going to hear from him today, along with Joe Caldera, who's the president of Caldera Wealth Management. We've been partners with Joe Caldera also for many years on the Chamber's retirement plan, 401k. So we're really here today to help you understand and to get better prepared and to be informed so that you can make the best decisions for your company. So one quick thing I want you to mark your calendars just really quickly before we start the conversation. Please do join us for the Vegas Chamber's end of legislative session and breakfast. That's going to be held on June 18th, 2025. As you guys may know, the Chamber's been representing Southern Nevada's business community throughout the entire 2025 legislative session in Carson City. So we want to invite you for kind of a wrap-up session. It's again on June 18th, the end of session legislative breakfast, where we're going to be reviewing the key business legislation and proposals and a lot of the laws that are being passed right now in Carson City. So with all that, it's time to get our discussion started today. Once again, welcome, Treasurer Conine. Thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Mary Beth, and thanks, as always, to the Chamber for being such an absolutely wonderful partner in all the things that end up having to be done at the state of Nevada, making them both better. Mary Beth, being very humble, is an active member of the board of the Nevada Employee Savings Trust, or NEST, which is what this program is, as is member Caldera, Joe, our friend, who will be here to provide a lot of expertise. And that's good because when the government leans into something like this, we want to make sure to get it right. I know that doesn't always happen, but in the Treasury, I'd like to tell you we're batting 1,000. So hello, everyone. I'm Zach Conine. I have the pleasure of being Nevada's 23rd state treasurer. And amongst other departments in the state treasury, we have our new financial literacy and security division, ably led by Deputy Treasurer Lesley Mohlenkamp, who's also on the line, so that we can throw her just all the hard questions. So really anything you can think of, let me know and we will throw it to Lesley. It's a perfect way to kick off a Tuesday morning. But our financial literacy and security division is really about providing the tools to Nevada families and businesses that they need in order to create the kind of generational wealth that we think Nevada has always been founded around. And our goal here is to make sure that all businesses and all employees have access to retirement savings, whether or not they get it through the state's program, which will be incredibly low cost, but also relatively low option, right? Really kind of like coming in as the value player here, or more gold and platinum plans like what's happening over at the Chamber, or other plans that member Caldera can talk about. And the point isn't that one plan wins or loses. That's not our goal here in the government. Our goal is that we have as many people saving for retirement as humanly possible. So let's talk about a little around what this is and how it's going to roll out. So as of this year, 17 states in the country have enacted state-facilitated auto IRA plans in order to close the retirement access gap. State IRAs are state-sponsored retirement savings vehicles that offer automatic enrollment for employees who do not have access to an employer-sponsored 401k or pension. I think this is really important. This plan is supposed to be additive to the market. So if you already offer a 401k, if you're already part of the Chamber's 401k, if you have a pension for your employees, you are exempt from this program. We'll tell you how to get let us know that you're exempt from this program, and then you will not hear from us again. But if you're not, this is for everybody else. Program automatically deducts a percentage of an employee's earnings towards their nest egg, while providing tax advantages and compounding power, which of course Joe can explain probably better than anyone. Nevada's program is called NEST, the Nevada Employee Savings Trust. That is statutorily good luck. A lot of times we get programs that do not have great acronyms, but NEST is probably as good as I've seen in my 6 years in this job. Main goal is to make sure that Nevada employees have access to tax-favored workplace retirement plans by complementing, again, not competing with, existing offerings. As Mary Beth mentioned, this was Senate Bill 305 during the 2023 legislative session that created this department within the Treasury, and we have been working ever since diligently to get it up, along with our Board of Trustees, which Mary Beth and Joe are on, as well as the Lieutenant Governor and a number of other fantastic Nevadans. Okay, here are the state requirements. These are employers who are going to be eligible and required to be part of the program. 1, employers who do not offer a tax-favored workplace retirement plan are required to participate in the NEST program or join one of many other programs like the program that the Chamber has. The legislation specifically requires the participation of employers who, number 1, have more than 6 employees, and 2, have been in business for 3 years. So if you are, a self-employed operator of a cupcake stand that started 3 days ago, we'll talk to you in a couple of years when you get a lot bigger. Employers must facilitate the coverage for employees who have been employed for 4 months and are at least 18 years of age. And they have to share the information about the program with their workers. The goal here is for this to be as easy for employers and employees as humanly possible. All of the back end work happens at our level and with our partners, but as employers, you'll have to share information, which we will provide you to share to your employees, as well as facilitate that deduction, and we can talk about how that will work. The program does not cover employees who are employed by governments, so if anyone's here from a government, you're off the hook, but you're already, covered by a pension almost assuredly. Employees are automatically enrolled when their employer registers with NEST or when they become eligible with age or length of employment. So this is a big decision that the state made during the legislative process. That's auto enrollment. So employers who have the NEST program, when you have an employee, that employee becomes auto-enrolled in the program. In other words, the switch is default set to on. That employer, of course, can turn that off, and it's very easy to do so. But what we know is, historically, and Joe can probably speak a little bit better on the stats here, but we know that when a program is auto-enrolled, the participation is much, much higher. And since our goal here is to make sure Nevadans have money for retirement, that's, I believe, why they did that legislatively. And that's all going to start on July 1st. So since we passed the legislation, there's been a couple of moving parts on our end. One is that the state of Nevada has entered into a partnership with the Partnership for Dignified Retirement, which was originally the Colorado plan. So our state is partnering with Colorado, Delaware, Maine, Vermont, and soon others in order to pool assets. Now, what that does is that gives us access to basically lower cost fees for employees. Again, this has no cost to employers outside of course, there are going to be soft costs and some minor administration and the time it will take to tell your employees, but really wanted to keep it low cost for employers. And those economies of scale will allow us to control our own destiny, but be able to provide a much better product. So we have a website that recently went live, and this website has a ton of information about the program, but I want to be clear, there are going to be 2 websites, and you'll be able to access them through each other. This information that we're going to put up right now, which is nevadatreasurer.gov/nest, N-E-S-T, is all about information on the program. But because, and you might have heard, the state's not great at start from the ground IT projects. just not a thing that's a core competency for us. So we've partnered with a group called Vestwell through that Colorado partnership that will give us access to their back end. And so that back end has been working in those other 4 states for years. They have found all of the problems that there can be found. So we're hopeful that it's a lot easier rollout here than it has been other places.
Mr. Treasurer, there is a question in the chat. Would you mind to
Please.
take a question? It
Not
says,
at all.
are owners included in the 6 employees, or is it only an employee that isn't the owner of the company?
Well, I think the way that unemployment, so we're getting the info just to kind of open up the kimono a little bit. We're getting the information from the DEETR, right? The Employer Training and Rehabilitation, which means that if you're paying unemployment insurance on a person, they will count in the count. So as an employer, I know sometimes you're paying unemployment insurance through the company, sometimes you're doing it as self-employed insurance, and that could be the difference there between whether or not you show up as 6 employees or 5 employees. But individual cases like that, obviously, we're happy to walk through and try to help folks out with.
Okay, perfect. That was a great summary. Really appreciate all that information. And just as a reminder, again, please do type your questions in the chat. That's what we're here for, or raise your hand. We can unmute you. Joe Caldera has been a partner with the Vegas Chamber for many years. As I mentioned, he's worked with us on the Chamber's 401k plan. And Joe, you haven't had a chance to speak yet, so I'll just open it up for you to make some opening remarks, and then we'll dig into some more questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mary Beth, and thank you all for participating. This is an important topic. As a board certified financial planner, there's nothing better than helping people get access to a retirement program. And what comes with this is financial literacy that helps bring awareness to the importance of saving for retirement. As you know, Social Security is one of the greatest benefits that many Americans have, but unfortunately, Social Security is not designed to fully fund retirement, and we definitely need another vehicle or another bucket, if you will, to provide folks, with a good retirement program. So with the Nevada Employee Savings Trust, obviously we don't like mandates, but we know that this will encourage employers to have the dialogue and the conversation with employees about retirement and the importance to save, for the future. I'm looking forward to this dialogue. And I'm looking forward to sharing the difference between the Nest and other options that are available to many of our members so that they can make an informed decisions as they decide, what to do. So again, thank you all for joining us.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And we did type the website address in the chat, but it's nevadatreasurer.gov/NEST. NEST. So hopefully everybody's able to get that. We're also going to be posting that on the Chamber's website as well. So we want to make sure that you have access to that. But Joe, you and I, as the treasurer said, you and I have had the opportunity to serve on this commission since the beginning, and it's been really a great opportunity for us to do that. What makes it especially accessible or beneficial for small and medium-sized businesses? Because I know you see this every day. You live, eat, breathe, and sleep it.
Well, the Chamber has been a leader on this topic and recognized that there's a retirement savings gap. Most Americans are not adequately saving for retirement. And also, there's this burden on business to seek an affordable retirement program. The Vegas Chamber launched its group program for all members of the Vegas Chamber back January 1st of 2020. So you guys are 5 years ahead. What makes it beneficial is the flexibility that businesses have to customize this retirement plan and what makes sense for the owner and the employee. It transfers a lot of the fiduciary liability away from the owners at an affordable price. It complies with the state mandate ultimately. And the goal is to simplify administration and make it attractive to employees, and then partner with an expert to help guide the employer and employees along the retirement savings journey.
So that's really helpful. Thanks, Joe. So if I'm an employer out there and I'm trying to decide, how do I decide? I can go with the state's Nest program. That's an IRA. program, or I could do one like the Chamber or others that are out there as well. Can you talk about, for our listeners, some of the highlights of what are the differences and how do I even choose which way to go?
Yeah, there are many differences, as you alluded to. The NEST program is an IRA-based program. There's contribution differences. Like in the IRA-based program, the most an employee can contribute is $7,000. And if you're over 50, they can contribute up to $8,000. Where in the 401k world, you can get up to 31,000 if you're over 50, or 23,500 if you're younger. There's also withdrawal options in the form of loans that you can get in a 401k, and it's a more robust investment program. Profit sharing is something that employees can do with a lot of customization, with eligibility, or even company match. The NEST program doesn't allow employer contributions into the program, which is okay. A 401k can offer a match if an employer would like to offer something like that.
Okay, that's an important distinction, I think. And I see Treasurer Conine, you shaking your head. Do you have some comments about the match or how we go about deciding the benefits there?
No, I think that Joe did an excellent job there in kind of describing one of the real benefits, I think, of employers choosing a plan that is, sort of a little bit more broad and features a little bit more benefits than the state's plan does. The state's plan will have a series of investment options, but three or four, right? And those will look exactly like you would expect them to, right? A more risky plan, a less risky plan, a Goldilocks plan in the middle, but not a lot of flexibility, right? The goal here is to be low cost. And so if you're an employer looking for a way to stand out and find, because everyone's going to have this, right? If you're looking for a way to stand out and try to attract the best talent you can find, having a program like the one that the Chamber has makes a lot of sense, right? It's a good way to stand out in what is a relatively difficult hiring market.
Yeah, and you make a lot of good points too. And I know that we get a lot of questions from our members about, what do we do? We got to make sure we comply. And a lot of them are a little bit nervous, right? When it's a state mandate, everybody thinks, oh gosh, is this going to be another thing that's going to be hard for me to navigate? But truly, the state's desire is that folks just have options and opportunities to plan for their retirement. It's not about being punitive, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And if you'd like, I can spend just a moment or two kind of talking through the onboarding process for employers. Hopefully that makes everybody feel better. But if you're anything like me, back when I had a small and then medium and then I guess medium-sized business, you want to play with it yourself. And that's something you're going to be able to do at the beginning of June when this site rolls out in advance of the actual mandate. But so what we're going to do is we are using state data to identify employers with more than 6 employees who have been in business for more than 3 years. We're going to take that information then and scrape it against publicly available tax data to remove out any businesses who are filing with the federal government saying, hey, we have an employee retirement program. Within that universe of individuals that are left, they're going to get an email communication from us or a mail communication from us saying, hey, this program exists. You either have to tell us that you're not subject to it, or you have to sign up for it. You go into the website if you have a retirement plan and we just don't know about it. That's real easy. You sign an affidavit to that extent. It should take about 90 seconds. It is really, really, really quick if you already offer a program. If not, you upload your employee register, right? Your list of employees with some information. There's a template form you can fill out, or you can connect the program with almost every payroll provider around. And so you just connect the payroll provider with our system and they can take it from there. And then you basically just connect. Once those two are connected, your employees will get a communication from us telling them how to use the system, and the state and its partners manage everything. So if they need to reset a password, they reset it through us. If they want to turn contributions on or off, they turn it on or off through us. If they have questions about their retirement option, you send them right to us, right? The goal here is for employers to just be able to point the employees towards the state and its partners so that they don't have to worry about it at all.
So on that note, one thing I don't know if we've discussed this, Joe or Mr. Treasurer, is when employees, so say they do want to stay opted in and they say, yeah, I really do need to start planning for my retirement. Does the state have brokers or experts for that advice that you just mentioned, or do they need to, for example, call someone like Joe or others for that advice?
It's kind of like the investment options, right? So they're going to be able to talk to a professional at Vestwell, and that professional will be able to talk to them about the programs and things that the state offers, right? That kind of relatively limited band of investment options. If an individual has the resources, right, where they can talk to an investment advisor, where they should be talking to an investment advisor, Vestwell will get them the very basic piece of information, right? What they could probably Google for themselves. But we always advise people to talk to experts like Joe and his colleagues if you're going anywhere farther than that, right? If you're working and you have a $42,000 a year job and you're putting a little bit of money away from retirement, there's probably not a lot of upside in talking to a financial advisor. But if you're not and you're saving and you've got, 10 different retirement accounts and you're thinking about college savings plans, also like Nevada prepaid tuition offered through the Nevada Treasury. If you're thinking about all those kinds of things, it can help to talk to your very own advisor who understands your circumstances directly as opposed to just sort of the generic circumstance.
That was an excellent plug, Mr. Treasurer. I really appreciate you putting in that plug.
That's why we're
Great,
here.
great job. Well, on that note, Joe, then let's transition back over to you. Talk a little bit about those fees that are involved in both the Nest program and the Chamber's 401k. You kind of touched on this, but let's go a little deeper into that, please.
Yeah, so the NES is another affordable program. There's no employer cost to join. All the fees is embedded into the program. There's a 20 basis point fee that employees will pay. So think of 100 basis points as equivalent to 1%. So 1/5 of 1% is deducted based on assets. Some of that goes to Vestwell and some of that goes to the state of Nevada. But in addition, there's a fixed fee of $26 annually, but it's broken up into a few dollars per month. So super affordable on the Nest. To join the Vegas Chamber program, the employer only pays $400 a year for all employees to participate in the program. It's only $400. There's no setup fee. There's no document fee. Again, it's $100 per quarter. And that gives employers and employees the ability to get access to a robust and efficient retirement program. Employees pay 80 basis points collectively per year based on, or pay to Nationwide, who was our record keeper, along with Caldera Wealth and the plan auditor. And then our third-party administrator, National Benefit Services, they charge $4 a month for only active participants. So again, it is an unbelievable value for employers who want to seek a robust retirement program.
Okay, excellent. And again, we're taking questions for our panelists today. We have Nevada State Treasurer Zach Conine with us, also Lesley Mohlenkamp, Deputy Treasurer, and then Joe Caldera of Caldera Wealth Management. So we highly encourage your questions. This time is for you. But Joe, in the meantime, a lot of folks are really looking for ways to strengthen their financial future, but it's hard to understand. It can seem very complicated. And as an employer, I know, sometimes it's hard to encourage or really educate employees on getting their teams, to start saving for retirement. So can you give some advice to employers on what they could do to motivate their teams to start planning for the future?
Yeah, I think just having a conversation and allocating some time. Whenever we do an enrollment meeting, we talk about saving more, spending less, avoiding debt, setting goals, and pursuing excellence. And it seems easy, and it seems like this is common sense to do, but it could be a challenge. And so, we teach practicality and how to save more. Maybe it's helpful to start by increasing by 1 or 2% every year. This may be, a new expense for some employees who have never saved for retirement before. And so this gives them the ability to start putting some money away and maybe allowing the account to compound on itself. What got me in the business back, oh my goodness, 27 years ago, I learned the power of compounding. And when I learned the rule of 72, which is the rate money doubles, so if I got a 7.2% return on my investment, my money will double every decade. And if I earn 10% or more, my money would double every 7.2 years. So someone who is young and has time for compounding growth can make a significant difference in terms of the amount of saving for the future. So I think it's important that employers embrace the NEST program or look at other retirement alternatives, which really makes sense for them. Then they can carve out some opportunities for employees to learn about some of the options that are available to them. And the other thing that I've seen that works really well is someone within the group who may be in leadership role that can share their experiences. It's fascinating to learn, from folks that have been there, done that, who actually are in retirement years and maybe have learned a few things, that they could have done something different that they know to be better after learning some of the past mistakes.
Well, it really does behoove. Oh, go ahead, Treasurer.
I was just going to say, I think one of the big pieces of success in retirement here, and the reason why the state's so excited about this program and so excited to highlight other programs like this, is the first step can be the hardest, right? Signing up for a program like this, figuring out which financial advisor to talk to, right? That first sort of, I know I should do this, but I don't know how, and it feels a little big and a little scary. And if I do it wrong, that could be bad, right? And so the NEST program, think of us like sort of the gateway there, right? That Nevadans can start saving for retirement. And once they start seeing the benefits, as Joe mentioned, what that can do and how accounts start to compound, they will, as I think most young investors do, young savers do, start looking for ways to do it better, right? They want to get a baseball glove, and then they want the best baseball glove. And I think that's a big piece of this puzzle, and that's kind of the role the state wants to play here, right? We want to be sort of the first savings account, but not the last one.
All right, exactly. Okay, we have another question in the chat. This one comes from Michael Fetter with Dickinson Wright. He's serves on our board of trustees as former chairman of the chamber. Michael writes, how is the information about this new law being disseminated to employers throughout the state? And number two, with the upcoming deadline, is there a grace period?
Thanks for the question, and I'll take the second one first. The state at this point is all carrot, no stick. We have no intention of being, punitive here, looking for businesses that aren't doing it. We know, especially now with what's happening in the economy and all the difficulties that employers have, from finding employees to dealing with tariffs to dealing with everything else in the world, right? Our goal is to provide a resource, not anything else. So less of a grace period and more of simply we are focused on signing employees and employers up for this program, not on finding folks who haven't yet had a chance to do it. As far as dissemination goes, we are taking an all of the above approach. One, we're talking to groups like the Vegas Chamber, who have excellent outreach into the community. We'll be doing a series of media events around it so that individuals have information. And then we're talking to literally any group we can get a hold of. In addition to that, we'll be communicating directly to employers, both through email and in written form, and making sure they have the toolbox, all the tools that they need in order to explain this program, or at least to point employees in the right direction, both on our website and everywhere else. But, and this is a request to everybody on the line, Michael, you for sure, and definitely everybody else. If there are groups we should talk to, if there are listservs we should be on, if there are any way that we can get to as many employers and eventually employees as possible, we are happy to take you up on it. So please, we think we've got a lot of the big ones, but I'm sure there's ones we've missed, and we'd definitely like to talk to.
All right, excellent. Let's see, another question from Teresa Motes. Will this information go through, is it NUI as well? I don't know what NUI is.
And I don't either. So
yeah, I'm not missing that
we'd
one.
like it to, but we should probably.
Teresa, if you can add to your question there, we'd love to answer it for you.
We're all sort of waiting with bated breath to figure.
I'll check back on the chat. In the meantime, Treasurer Conine and maybe Lesley, Deputy Treasurer, can answer this as well. About the auto enroll, So what happens in the event that everything moves forward, it's auto enroll and so forth, and then somebody doesn't get the memo and an employee says, "Oh, shoot, I didn't have the extra money to be taken out of my paycheck." Is there describe the opt-out or reversing their contributions process? Is that possible?
So employees and Deputy Treasurer, feel free to fill in here if I miss anything. But employees will get access to their account before deductions start happening, well before deductions start happening. And so there'll be communications to them through email, hopefully through text messages at the site of employment saying, "Hey, this is coming. You're going to be signed up for this if you don't do something else." But we know that employees have a lot going on in their lives as everyone else does. And the first time they might notice is when their paycheck is a little bit smaller because it's moving into this account. So two things. One, it's set up as a Roth IRA. So these are post-tax dollars. So pulling money out of that account, principal out of that account, doesn't have any sort of tax or other negative impacts. Two, for the first 90 days that money is going into the account, it will effectively go into a very low risk money market sweep type account, right? So the likelihood of making a bunch of money in that first 90 days is pretty small. The likelihood of losing money in that first 90 days is pretty small. As Joe will say, we never say that there's absolutely no risk. That's not how the world works, but is very de minimis. And so those employees will have plenty of time if they want to move out of the program or move back in, they will. And what we've seen in some other states, because these contributions are so easy to adjust and can be adjusted by Vestwell paycheck to paycheck, right? You do not need to worry about this. We'll work with the payroll providers. It's relatively easy for everybody to do. You do have some employees who, they have a couple of good months and they want to increase their percentage, and so they increase their percentage. And then, they blew a tire and need to replace it. This is a great way for them to go take out some of those principal dollars if they need to, as opposed to other sort of more expensive sources of credit, right? One of the big things this program can do is help to remove an employee's need to go to, say, like a payday lender or get a title loan in order to survive kind of paycheck to paycheck. We want to make sure that they don't have to do that if they have these assets available. So it'll be real easy to go in and out.
Okay, excellent. Deputy Treasurer, did you have anything to add to that? Want to make sure we're
Thank you.
including you.
No, I think that the treasurer covered it very well. I think one of the great benefits of this program is, the ease for the employee to be able to manage and access their savings and be able to make those adjustments. So we're really excited about that. I think overall, the goal for both employers and employees is to make this a very easy program. So what we're seeing in our demonstration so far show that this will be very easy for the employees to manage.
Okay, excellent. We did get a little bit of clarification from Teresa. She writes, it is INUI was our question. It is the place where employers go for unemployment communications, INUI, ESS, or Employer Self-Service Tax System.
See, you learn something new every day. We've got a giant government over here. Just kidding. There's like 8 of us. But I'll figure out which one of the other 8 it is that does that, and we will make that. Thank you, Teresa, for the suggestion. I see another question from Vasquez. Our company has not been operating in Nevada for 3 years. We'll be exempt from participating until we hit the 3-year mark. Is there a specific open enrollment period to sign up once we hit the 3-year mark? Great question. 2 parts to it. We're using data from when the unemployment filings were started in Nevada, right? So if you had a business without any employees and you were operating for a couple of years not paying state unemployment tax because you didn't have any employees, we will not know about you until you've been paying unemployment tax for 3 years, right? So you might get a couple of free years there if you were operating and then immediately turned around and went up to 50 employees, right? That's when the trigger point will happen, and we'll be able to reach out to you. But I should mention, this is open to all employers in Nevada, regardless of whether or not they've been open for 3 years. So that's our trigger to start reaching out to businesses, but it's not your trigger. If you've been in business for 3 months and want to get this program in place, you're welcome to. It'll also be available. I don't know that we have any on this call, but it'll also be open to 1099 employees. So if you're a gig employee in Nevada, and you've been doing that, and you've got a couple of different employers, you're doing DoorDash and driving Uber or whatever, you'll be able to get access to this. And then in that case, the contributions will be made directly by the employee through the system as opposed to by an employer, right? So we expect that there will be some individuals who are, consultants or 1099 employees, as I was for quite some time, who will be able to use this program if they want to.
Okay. Excellent. And, it really does behoove the employers to make these resources available to potential employees. One of the things I hear the most is that, gosh, it's hard to attract, talented workforce, or the talent pool is very shallow. But as an employee, if I have an opportunity to take a position that is strictly, salary only, or a position that is at least comparable, maybe it's even a lower salary, but they provide benefits. They provide health insurance like we do with the chamber, or they provide the 401k or the savings plan. I'm 9.5 times out of 10, I think employees are going to select the company that provides those benefits. And Joe, I mean, and there are a lot of tax credits and things like that. You sort of touched on the benefits. There are a lot of benefits to the employer to provide these benefits, right?
Yeah, there's never been a greater time to offer a retirement plan. The Secure 2.0 Act that passed several years ago provides up to $5,000 tax incentive to help offset some of the costs to establish a new retirement program for employers. There's a lot of rules in regards to how many employees that you can have that determines what the credit looks like. There's also going to be auto enrollment and auto escalation tax credits and matching tax credits that are not available in the NEST program. So there are many parts and pieces to consider. The cost barrier has indeed been removed. Most payroll companies are now integrating with these programs, including NEST and the Vegas Chamber's 401k. So it is a great time for employers to engage.
Yeah, I like the way you said that, Joe. There's probably never, ever been a better time to do this, where everybody's trying to make it so easy for folks to engage and get enrolled and to provide these benefits to their employees. And that really goes back to helping the entire community. So once again, I mean, for the NEST program, you can go to www.nevadatreasurer.gov/NEST. You can also go to the Vegas Chamber's website, vegaschamber.com. You can call me, you can call Joe. I don't know about you, Mr. Treasurer.
Oh, feel free. It would be nice to get a call with some good news these days.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that just about wraps up our questions, but any other sort of final thoughts, Mr. Treasurer or Deputy Treasurer, and then we'll go to Joe for final thoughts for our audience.
Yeah, I just want to thank you and the Chamber, as always, for being such gracious hosts, and thank the business community writ large, right? We don't like mandates either in government. Don't tell anyone I said that. But when one is given to us by the legislature, we want to make sure we implement it in as effective as way as possible. I think this is really going to help people, and I really appreciate our team, led ably by Deputy Treasurer Mohlenkamp, for all the work kind of running through this program, while, by the by, running the state's first program for reimbursement for doctors in underserved communities, which is also under Lesley's umbrella. But we are here for you. All feedback is good feedback. So if you run into a problem, let us know, and we'll make a change. Thanks so much.
Excellent. Joe?
Yeah, I also want to thank the Chamber as well. I am so honored and grateful to represent many of our members and to help them make these informed decisions, because there's so many moving parts and pieces. This is a daily conversation that we have with employers. We get to see some of their struggles in business and some of the things that they're dealing with. And we're just grateful to partner up with someone that can be their advocate, someone that can be their voice. I'm grateful that the NEST program is going to make their state even better. It's going to give employees the ability to tap into maybe funds that they didn't have previously. So whatever hardship they may be going through. So I just advocate employers to reach out to us. They can call us at 702-616-2000. We would love to help guide you through all of your options. And I know there's so many to consider. Whether or not you want to offer loans to employees, maybe that's important to you, or whether or not you want to consider improving your retention program, or maybe just help employees get access to financial education and helping improve their financial literacy. So I thank you all for joining. I'm looking forward to the website to go live. The NES is going to launch effective June 1st. Give us a call. We're here to help you and partner with you.
Well, excellent. Thank you, Joe Caldera, Caldera Wealth Management, Treasurer Zach Conine, Deputy Treasurer Lesley Mohlenkamp. We really appreciate your partnership. And thank you for your service to the state of Nevada on behalf of all of us at the Vegas Chamber. And we appreciate all of our attendees today. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at an upcoming Vegas Chamber event. Have a great day, everybody.